They have cuss words in Wakanda. Be advised. Hey y'all, I'm Jenn. I'm from Oakland, and I'm a queer, black feminist scholar.
This is Daren, hailing from the mean streets of Anaheim. I'm an introvert, a novelist, and a nerd.
We're early 30-somethings with 3 kids and over a decade of marriage.
This is a podcast about the realities of blackness and adult life. We do adult differently.
This is That Black Couple. Hello.
Hello.
We back.
We are actually back.
Oh my God, we are actually back.
We did it.
This is episode 31 of season 2 of That Black Couple. And we're talking about our favorite moments from the past 2 seasons. This is the looking back episode. I love don't you just love when you watch a TV show and they do a looking back episode and you be sitting there like, I seen all those moments. Like, I remember every single one.
And you really be sitting there like, I know what my favorite one is, so that better make the list of the favorite things.
They better pick it. They don't never pick mine because I'm weird. Like, what? Do you remember a looking back episode from when you was a kid?
The one I remember...
Don't say mine.
I remember Martin.
Oh, I was going to say Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one, too.
Remember when he got married? It was all nostalgic. And remember he turned off the light at the end of the show?
Yeah, I mean, because that was mushy. I mean, the Martin one was like the funniest shit you ever heard. Like when they had Notorious B.I.G. on it.
The funniest... Okay, what's your favorite Martin episode? What's your favorite Martin episode?
How do you have a favorite Martin episode?
I do.
Well, you know what? I just said I think the Notorious B.I.G. episode was my favorite episode because it had Pam and Gina losing their minds on TV.
Okay, so maybe...
Me and Patti LaBelle with the wings.
Maybe, okay, you're right. I don't have a favorite episode, but I do have a favorite moment.
What?
That football, baby. I'm not gonna lie. That shit took me all the way out.
Or what about the toenail?
Oh my god. Or when Gina got her head stuck in the headboard.
I know Martin been a little problematic over the years.
I know
there's some issues.
We know, but also...
I'm sorry. He put a funny show together.
That's a funny motherfucking show. Okay? Yeah. That was a really funny... Oh, wow.
And actually,
layers of funny.
I mean, like we said, he's a little problematic, but pretty timelessly funny, too. Like, it's not something you look back and go, oh, it's not, that was cringeworthy now.
You watch it today, still funny.
Still the same.
Still funny.
Still the same.
Like, wow. We had some good shit growing up.
Yeah.
These youngsters don't even know.
They don't even know. Okay, anyway. This is episode 31. You didn't even tell them what to drink yet.
I'm about to.
Okay.
Do you want to tell them?
No, that's all you. That's your job.
Are you okay?
I'm not. I don't get a check for that. So
thank you. This is episode 31 of season 2 of That Black Couple. This is the looking back episode, our favorite moments in the first 2 seasons. Have a seat. This is Jenn.
This is Daren.
And I want y'all to get a drink. So we haven't been drinking that much no more. We had a moment during the pandemic where we was drinking.
A little heavy.
And now we're not drinking as much. I'm back to Prosecco's.
Listen, I'm drinking Sprite.
And Coke.
Yeah. Maybe a ginger ale.
The academic school year has started. Actually, let me not have y'all turn up on a weeknight. Just go drink some tea. Okay?
Calm your stomach.
And before we get started, make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ThatBLKCouple. Follow us on Facebook at That Black Couple and look us up on the internets at www.thatblackcouple.com.
And if you've been listening to our podcast, you already know that you can find us everywhere.
Hold on. You already know.
I would do it, but I would sound so foolish.
I had to do it.
I can't do it because I'm not going to embarrass myself.
You already know.
Do it one more time.
You already know.
There you go. Like I said, you already know. We're on Google Play. We are on Apple iTunes. We are on Stitcher. We are on SoundCloud. We are everywhere that you listen to your favorite podcast. Add us to your list as one of your favorite podcasts there.
Okay, Daren. Are you ready for this episode?
I am so ready. I'm so ready. And I know everyone listening is so ready too,
It's
because
time
we had
for our
some really good
favorite-
moments.
It's time for our favorite moments. Okay, so if you were paying attention at the beginning of this episode and you hit play, you would have heard us in our perfect Wakandan accents. Actually, it wasn't us. It was just me.
It was just you, because mine
It
is...
was just me. It was just me speaking Wakandan. And I said, they have cuss words in Wakanda.
In Wakanda.
In Wakanda. Please be advised. And you know, that is by far my favorite intro.
We work really hard, honestly, to have very unique intros to every single episode.
We do.
And I agree, that's one of my favorites, because it just, wow.
Yeah, it sneaks up on you.
You don't see it coming.
If you're looking away and someone hits the play button, you will spit all over your phone because you've forgotten how funny that shit is.
And there are some other moments like that we'll be covering today.
There are. And so that, I would just like to say, that's my favorite, absolute favorite intro. And I'm so glad that I have such perfect Wakandan.
Yours is pretty good. Mine needs a little work.
Yours is a little ashy.
But I'm still very proud of my Wakandan accent.
Oh no! It needs some moisturization.
It could use some ultra healing. It's okay.
Yeah, definitely a Jergens level emergency.
A cocoa butter, coconut oil.
Yeah, can Lizzo come sing about it? Come on, help us. All right, Lennox. I really want Ari Lennox to come help you.
I mean...
No, her song is about shea butter, huh?
Yeah, shea butter baby.
I mean, if we get shea butter baby and cocoa butter, I'm just saying, if we get all the thick booty black singers who sing about shea butter and cocoa butter over here to help you with your Wakandan accent, you should heal from that.
Then they can put me in Black Panther too.
Yeah, they're all thick booties, just glorious bodies and skin.
And glistening.
Just glowing and just really... Wow.
And then we just need Angela Bassett to come over.
And she just sprinkles a little bit of that water, whatever that water is that she drinks that keeps her 17.
We have to keep going.
Okay,
this is
anyway.
gonna be the longest episode.
So what's next, Darren? Tell me.
Next. Oh, this is the moment. This is one of my favorite moments. We're gonna talk about our favorite drags. Now, we have dragged a lot of things, a lot of people, a lot of concepts, a lot of theories. But there are two, one for each of us, that kind of rose to the top.
Oh no!
And I'm a little upset because I actually kind of feel like your favorite is kind of my favorite too, if I'm being real honest. Because it was exceptional, and we did it together.
We did.
We did it.
We tag team.
We got from point A to point B.
We tag team,
and it was majestic.
It was.
So let's go ahead and listen to this one. This is from episode 26, which was titled "Why We Aren't Rooting for Everybody Black."
I just don't understand the joke, and then so what I'm realizing is that I think Kenya Barris is making a joke out of us. That's all I can come up with. I just feel like I'm the joke.
No.
I feel like actual black people who look like me, who grew up actual black and stayed black the whole time, and then only played black people in their dreams and in real life. I feel like we're the joke.
No, you're missing it.
I don't get it.
You're missing it.
Okay, help me.
This is the through line for all of Kenya Barris' shows. Here's the through line.
Yes.
All of Kenya Barris' shows are from his perspective. Mm-hmm. And he is, a wealthy black man who lives in wealthy spaces that are predominantly white.
Yes.
And he's the black face in the room. So
yes.
this is the story of like the black friend. It's like, say, if instead of it being about the white people and there's the one black guy that's tagging along, let's make the story about the black person where there's white people all around.
Yes.
And so that's the through line of all his shows is he's the blackest person in the room because he's generally the only black person in the room.
Oh, I get it. Oh my God, you helped me so much just now.
So when he says black as fuck, he said I'm black
that.
as fuck.
When you say
I'm it.
When he's, oh my God. It's like if you have one sprig of pepper in a whole bowl of salt, that looks like a lot of pepper, but it's just one.
It's just one.
So what you're saying is he's black as fuck because there's no other blackness in the room with which to reflect his non-blackness.
Right. Which, to be honest, is why Rashida Jones fits.
You are
on the
so
show.
smart. I am so glad I married you. Oh my God. I have been watching these shows for so long.
It hit me at one point when I think I read something about how he's how it was when I read about Black as Fuck and where he was saying he cast himself in the show because he's basically playing himself.
I don't speak light-skinnedness.
But here's the thing.
I'm not from light-skinned Dosha.
But here's the thing.
I didn't come from the Isle of the Light-Skins. You know, I've never touched the shores of light-skinned city. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing.
Yes.
They always say, write what you know. And so, to a certain extent, you can't knock Kenya Barris for writing about... Let me finish. You can't knock him for writing about his experience. Here's my issue, is he did Blackish, and he did Grownish, and he did...
that one, too.
Mixed-ish, right?
Are there any other issues? Are those the issues?
No, those are all the issues.
There's 3 issues.
And then he got that Netflix upgrade, and what he did is instead of expanding out,
he just
went
said
inward.
Right. Because he's a boy. Because he's a
let's
sad nigga.
do it harder this time.
Let's go harder.
And he could have made a different choice. I'm telling you, when you say, I've never touched the shores.
Light skin city. I don't know why I turned to a 1930s like detective.
And a black and white film.
I see me in a hat with like a feather on the side, and I feel it's like I'm looking through a window with a low shadow across my face.
And there's some jazz music playing in the back.
I've never touched the shores of light skin city.
That's one thing. It will never not be funny. It will never not be funny. It don't matter how many times I listen to that. I'm gonna die from laughing every single time.
You know, I have to agree, and I'm embarrassed, low key. But I will say, this is why I smoke weed before the show.
It's for moments like that.
So y'all are welcome.
Now, what I say. So let's move on to the other one.
Yes.
This is the one that I picked as my favorite.
Yes.
And
this is a good one.
This is another good one.
This is a good one. This is a good one.
It's another one that will never not be funny. It's every time it gets me. It's from episode 14. That was from this season 2. And we were talking about the Oscars and all the different Oscar nominees. And this one.
And all the shows we didn't see and all the movies we didn't see, but we was going to talk about them anyway.
Yeah, and so what we did is we said, okay, we're going to give you a quick synopsis of the movie, basically from, I think it was whatever the official listing was, and then we did that black couple version.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious. And then in this one, we decided to talk about The Shape of Water.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Octavia was, the same character she is in every movie.
She was Octavia. Again.
This could have been Hidden Figures. This could have been
Zorg was Zorg.
This could have been what's the other movie? Not Hunger Games, not Maze Runner.
The Help.
Oh, could have been The Help. No, the other one with the
which one?
With Shailene Woodley. Ascendance. Insurgent. Whatever. Whichever one of those, it's the same. Octavia
Straight
Spencer
to Video Urgents.
And the same thing like
Straight to Netflix Urgents.
The shade. Just like when Octavia Spencer was in that movie where she was playing God.
Yeah, I was gonna say that one.
It's the same thing. She got on flowy clothes and she talking and she has the same.
And
dialogue.
she always cleaning something up. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
She's always cleaning something up.
She's always cleaning something up.
I mean, damn. I hope when Octavia Spencer goes home, she don't clean up shit. I hope she's like,
never.
Someone else is cleaning.
For the rest of her life, she needs to hire white people to clean up behind her. Because in every movie, they make her clean up on the set.
I mean, damn. In The Shape of Water, she had to clean up blood and all type of fingers and
toes.
Wow, she
I'm not doing it.
Up.
It's not happening. Oh my god.
You know what's really funny to me about that one?
What?
Is like I remember when we recorded that, and in the moment, it didn't feel like it didn't hit us. Like immediately, it didn't feel like we just dragged this shit. Like
we were just talking.
It was just like ha ha ha, and then
but that playback in the edits though. That cutting room floor.
When I was editing that episode, I remember I was sitting next to you on the couch and I had headphones on and I was listening and I was editing the audio. I was being all really precise about making sure everything sounded sharp. And that part came out and I think I literally fell out.
You fell out. I
literally fell out.
I was like, "What's wrong? Are you okay?"
And I had to play it for you. that you fell out with me.
She's always cleaning something up.
She's always cleaning something up.
She's always wiping a counter. She's always holding a mop. It's like they just feel like the most natural setting for her is in the janitor's closet. Bitch, she don't have a makeup counter nowhere where she lives.
But let's also for a second, let's also give some credit to the secondary drags of that, because there were a lot of secondary drags. Number one, the fact that we listed so many movies where she was playing the same character.
Yeah.
Number two, where I pointed out that she was always wearing flowy clothes.
Always.
And number three, what was it that you said? Oh, you were talking about the Insurgent movie, and you called it Straight Flick to Netflix Surgent.
Straight to Netflix Surgent. Listen,
like
those movies are terrible.
They are.
They are awful.
They were so bad. They said, "Ooh, we can't even do this to you the last one."
Imagine being the top movie in the world and then going straight to Blockbuster. Come on, boom boom, honey, Shailene. Put it away.
This podcast is supported by generous donations from listeners and readers of our mom and dad's web magazine, watercoolerconvos.com. You can stream the show on Spotify, Google Play, Apple iTunes, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. When you listen, please consider hitting that heart button, sharing, giving us a 5-star rating, and leaving some dope comments. This helps us with our page rankings and gets more listeners for the show. Thank you so much.
And we're back.
We are back.
This is a really fun episode.
I know that last segment. I mean, it's one of those things where you don't listen back to your episodes because you don't. And then you do. And you're like, wow, something's wrong with us.
Yeah, and you realize these are things that I put out into the world.
Yeah.
And other people have heard as well.
Actually, something's more wrong with you than me. But yes, definitely something's wrong with us.
You can say that if you want.
It's you definitely more
the
than
listeners
me.
know the truth.
It's definitely you more than me.
So I'm going to move on now. Let's go to the second grouping of our favorite moments. We're going to talk about our favorite intellectual moments. So I
love this.
We're going to straighten up a little bit.
Okay.
Stop being silly for a moment.
Can we put on our Murdeer voice? I don't fuck with Murdeer, but we do have our professional verse.
I said we were being serious.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, we're going to do this. Okay, we got it. All right, so favorite intellectual moments. So I'm going to do mine first. Mine was from episode 22. A really great episode. One of my favorite episodes of all time. Not the favorite, but one of my favorites. It's the one where we talked about millennials and interracial dating.
Yeah.
I in particular love this episode because we had a whole roundtable of people. It's the first time we had an actual roundtable of people on the podcast with us. We did. And we got to, instead of just saying what we think about everything, actually ask other people and have follow-up questions and have a whole dialogue. I thought it was pretty amazing.
It was really dope.
I have had an experience, and I can't believe this didn't kind of immediately come to mind, when I was in Miami with my ex, who was half white, half Indian, and sort of read as maybe Hispanic, maybe white passing. When we were walking together and some men kind of came up behind us, and one was like loudly sort of like, I should be with her. Yeah. And there was also, I think, an experience we had in New York. A man said to him, like, I'll kill you, or something to that effect, right? Or something violent, something threatening. And he was very sort of disturbed by this. Yeah, I'm kind of shocked this didn't come to mind immediately. But yeah, no, seriously, just because I mean, it's just being used to men sort of calling out to you in public and being horrible and having to just kind of be like, whatever, you know what I mean? And not thinking anything sort of it, but that direct sort of threat because you're perhaps with a Black woman, you know what I mean? And so I don't know if that's what this guy is experiencing, and I don't know really kind of what to say about it. You know what I'm saying? Other than, you know, you just have to fucking brush it off. You know what I'm saying? Because they can't do anything to you.
They can.
I mean, they can. You're right. Maybe, I don't know why I'm sort of, I don't know. I just feel like if you're going into this territory, you have to be able to deal. And I feel that the world should be different, right? Does that make sense? Is that bad?
Why is it a territory?
Because it's the world we live in. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's just the reality. You have to
not date people.
That is not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. But clearly. I know, clearly, right? It's not what I'm saying, but I just feel like there are so many like worse problems with racism. And that one's pretty bad, huh? Maybe cut out the second half of this. I think though that was like a disturbed person who was just like hanging outside. You know what I'm saying? Like, but the first one's pretty bad too, huh? Yeah.
Well,
I just feel like
to your point, like even if it was just a disturbed person outside,
yeah,
I think it makes it very real. So
Yeah.
even if you could look at that and say this is just someone who's touched and you know, they just clearly need some mental health attention, it does make, I think, especially for like we were saying, for someone that might not have really conceptualized that type of a threat of just being outside before,
right?
It becomes very real because then you can say, what if that wasn't a disturbed person? What if that was just one of these people we see on TV with a MAGA hat on? You know, what if there was, you know, it could be anything. It makes it very, very real.
Maybe I should have been more sensitive at that moment.
I don't know. Well, once again, not a person who's been in an interracial relationship, but I don't know if that necessarily means that you should have been more sensitive. And I think we've talked about this before, especially on the podcast, where being black in America is like trial by fire.
Right.
You're born into this world,
right,
and you jump in, and you just got to figure the shit out.
Right.
And so I almost kind of feel like hearing about that experience, it's like, this is real. We still got to live.
Right.
So now you just got to figure this shit out and keep moving.
Right.
If this is not something that works for you, then clearly this relationship's not going to work for you because I can't change that.
Yeah.
But it's a very real thing that people have to contend with. Like, it's not, you know, we don't live in a fantasy world. Like, you have to really come to grips with what it does mean by the people that you choose to be with.
Yeah.
I love that episode. I think I also really love it because you and I have not interracial dated, and people have very, very different experiences, like very drastically different experiences, and some good, some bad. But I think hearing about folks in interracial relationships who are the black person in that relationship and their experience is something that was relatively new for me in recording that episode.
Yeah.
I think we had always thought, I think most people think about the non-black person in the interracial relationship because mainstream media, society tells us to center the experiences of non-black people. Yeah. So when we think about interracial dating, we think about how the experience must be for the white man or the Asian man or the Asian woman or the white woman, right? But this was a moment where I started thinking about the black person in that situation and what it must feel like to be the black person who's already seen in public as deviant and criminal and not belonging, but then also now having this billboard on your body that says, hey, I date outside of my race, and here's my non-black partner. Like, I've never understood that.
Yeah, and you're right. It's never the thing that's centered, and I think that's what was so interesting about that episode was really hearing those things from people's direct mouths of what their experiences were, and I think because, no one had their partner there. Yeah. It created a very unique space where everyone could say what they were thinking and what they were feeling and what their experiences were. And there was no person to pivot to. There was no person for us to look at and go, oh, I feel sorry for this white person who now has to understand a little bit of how hard it is to be black sometimes, right? It was really focused on like, look, these are black people. Right. And they already got it hard because they're black. And then they decided to date someone that's not black. And now, look, that's an extra thing that they got to deal with.
Right. It's so interesting. I mean, now that I'm dating again, I feel like maybe I should dibble in the dabbles. Dabbles in the dibbles. Oh. So that I can understand.
You're going to dip the toe?
I don't know.
See, now I said it, now you're scared.
I'm scared as hell. Oh, no. I mean, and this is something that I have to talk about, when I think about me and dating and being on these dating apps and the fact that I do not swipe right on anybody who is white ever. I just don't do it. I may swipe right on someone who is non-black, Asian, people of color, nondescript, ethnic, Latinx, like I push it. But I've never been on a date with a non-black person. I've never dated a non-black person. And I think it's because for me, those are the non-negotiables. Like, those are the things that I don't want to deal with. I already am a 6'4" big booty tattooed black girl with a bald head and who looks very, very queer and handsome. Like, I don't need these problems. But also, I'm not super. Anyway, that's a whole different conversation.
But I will say that's what was so good about that episode was having that conversation. I also love secondarily that the whole reason that we did that episode was because we had a question from one of our listeners.
Right.
And that's what I love so much about that episode too, is I feel like it was so much more intimate.
Yeah.
Not just with the people in the room, but also with the people listening.
Right. And they are still listeners. Just so you know, Michael Dew and his now wife are still listeners, and they are on our Patreon, and they are probably our most loyal podcast followers. And
Shout out to you.
As I'm recording this episode, I'm like, we need to hurry up and get this shit out because I know Michael's waiting for this motherfucking episode. So thank you, Michael. I appreciate you for always being there to remind us that we late with our podcast episodes.
It's coming now.
Thank you. It's coming. So, okay, now let's move into my favorite intellectual moment. Mine is actually from the episode where we talk about how important sleep is for Black folks. And I think the reason why I chose the Black Sleep Matters episode for my favorite intellectual moment is because I learned so much on that episode. Like I think anecdotally we understand that there are differences in how we rest, how we sleep, how we live, how we eat, how we build community. Like, you know, there are ways that we as folks of color, Black folks, we understand that we are inherently different from other groups, right? But on this episode, I feel like we had stats, data, research lined up to show this is not myth. Like, this is not made up. This is not folks' feelings and perceptions. This is measurable scientific health outcomes that are directly traceable to folks' access to sleep. And that fucked me up. It fucked me up. So let's go ahead and listen to the clip from the Black Sleep Matters episode.
Let's do it. As we all know, I like my facts. I like to do my research.
You do like facts, big facts.
And obviously we came into the idea for this podcast because we want to talk about how we don't sleep and how it's a problem.
Yes.
And then I thought, let me do some research. And I was actually really stunned because I did not realize how bad this was.
It's really bad.
Like on an aggregate level, when you think about racial minorities and how sleep affects us, like you were saying, it makes sense to a certain degree, like when you really, really think about it. But I think a lot of times people think about sleep and they think, I just be working hard, or, I don't sleep well, or, I toss and turn and stuff at night. But there's some real serious effects that people are having from sleep on an aggregate level.
Yeah.
So I pulled a couple data points here that I just want to share with everyone.
Yeah.
So Tiffany Yip, a psychology professor at Fordham University, she studied the sleep gap between white and non-white students, beginning with children as young as 2 years old.
Wow.
So when we talk about a sleep gap and how sleep actually disproportionately affects people, it starts at 2 years old.
Yeah.
And so when she looked at this, she realized that there was a 15-minute-a-day sleep deficit. And that 15-minute-a-day sleep deficit actually grows to more than an hour in adulthood.
That's terrible.
So when you think about, I only got 3-4 hours of sleep last night, think back to when you were a child and realize that the lack of sleep you're getting now probably started then.
Yeah.
And as you think about that sleep gap on the aggregate, as it grows and adds, like how many just sheer hours of sleep you have lost out on compared to somebody else.
Right. And when you talk about this, my first thought is like on my nieces and nephews and like their sleep patterns and all the kids that I've been around all growing up and like how they sleep or don't sleep. And part of it is because their parents are working or their parents don't have consistent living, situations, or just like they don't have a consistent household or a routine that allows them to have a set time of sleep every single day. And it's making me sad just thinking about the numbers of children I've been around all growing up who have been affected by this difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also think about, as adults, sometimes we don't sleep well because of, stress or pressures that we face during our lives. And think about that as a child, you still had similar stresses and pressures.
Yeah.
That as minorities are higher than those that are non-minority.
Right.
Another thing I looked up was the National Sleep Foundation did a study. They found that racial minorities have a higher risk for sleep disorders like insomnia and a higher likelihood of sleep apnea, poor sleep quality, and daytime sleepiness.
Wow.
What makes this even worse, though, is that Black people spend only about 15% of their night in slow wave sleep compared to 20% for whites. And so when you think about sleep, you have to remember that there are a bunch of different phases that you go through during your sleep cycle. And that slow wave sleep is called the restorative phase.
Mm.
So when you think about that way, we're also having poor quality sleep for the sleep that we are getting.
Yeah.
Less of the time we spend sleeping is actually restoring us and preparing us for the coming day.
This reminds me of that weathering hypothesis that talks about how Black people are basically subjected to certain forms of stress and anxiety and racial discrimination over the course of their lives. And it has these kind of intangible effects in their lives that you can't measure, like you can't see them happening. But then you see something like this that's clearly there's a difference happening and you can't figure out what it's attributable to. But it's like, this is weathering, right? This is the process of your body kind of being slowly broken down by the weight of the world because of the mere fact of existing while Black. The stress of having to work in a place where people are talking about you because of your race, or who undermine you or think you don't belong there, or going to a school where you're the only person of color or one of the few people of color and they think that you're not intelligent enough to be there, or that you had affirmative action help you get there, or you're going out every single day worried about a police officer mistaking you for whatever, that you're just literally walking down the street in probably a neighborhood where you actually live. Like the process of dealing with that anxiety and stress and tension every single day and what it does to your body, that's what that difference to me looks like, you know?
Yeah, it's like a silent tax, you know, it's like a silent killer.
Wow.
And if you really think about it, like we talked about it from childhood, from 2 years old.
Yeah.
That's people are feeling these effects.
Yeah.
And so when you think about all of the health issues that minorities tend to face,
Yeah.
and how sleep, especially restorative sleep, is about your own health and keeping your body strong and being able to fight certain things, you start to realize, okay, it makes sense that a lot of minorities have particular health disparity issues, right? And when you think about it, and actually this is the other thing I looked up, many of the health issues that affect racial minorities at higher rates, like obesity, high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, and stroke, can be linked with poor sleep or undiagnosed sleep apnea.
Yeah.
And that's one other thing that I didn't really touch on too much here as well, is that, Black people tend to have a lot of sleep apnea that actually goes undiagnosed as well. Yeah. And that's one of the things that actually really is kind of disturbing to me, is because that's one of those things that has an adverse impact on your body.
Yeah.
And just like we've seen in other health issues where things just go undiagnosed. And so you compound all of these things that are going on inside one person's body. And some of it is caused by external factors, like literally just walking around and having to feel threatened at every moment of the day.
Yeah.
And then you're not getting enough sleep, so you're not then better prepared to go back out into the challenges of the world the next day.
Right.
And all of this, like I said, it just compounds over the years and over the years and over the years. And like you said, it's like a weathering that occurs.
It's funny because, well, it's not funny, but I was thinking about, as you were talking, I was thinking about how people like to put up those bullshit memes where it's like, look at these two kids. Here's a Black kid and a white kid, and they know nothing about race, and everything is equal. And, it's all of us adults who, project all this racial stuff on the children. But then thinking about this data, it's like, no, at 2 years old, this is a child who's already having a difference with that little white kid in terms of what their access is to just getting sleep. And they already have a predisposition towards certain diseases just because of their racial makeup and the long history of racial discrimination in the United States. So even those memes, which we already know are bullshit, we already know that they're just like propaganda. But beyond that, like, there are actual measurable differences even in childhood. This episode is one of the first times we started talking about social justice issues without really prescribing or providing an approach to address it. So maybe we should do that here. I think that maybe now we're in a different place where we can have that conversation. I think for us now, we are really deeply committed to things like meditating and therapy and journaling and, collecting our rest. I mean, I take more naps now than I've ever taken in my life.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really important. I think on this episode, we were talking about, oh my gosh, look at the gap in our sleep. But we really didn't say, how to address it. And one thing I think is actually really important. Oh, we did actually. One thing we did say that I think you said on that episode was that you can lose sleep, you can miss sleep, but those naps actually really matter. Like a 30-minute nap can recoup like 7 hours of missed sleep. So one thing I will say, and this is not no nap ministry bullshit. This is not no like self-care, trademark TM type thing. This is actually some real shit. Like, collect those naps. Like, that has changed my life since grad school. Like, being tired and then just laying down because I was tired. Like, wow, that is life-saving shit. So I will say, like, I hope that folks listen to that episode with an ear to the ways that they can address the deficit and do better.
Yeah, and I think that's the whole point. And I think that's one thing I love about our podcast is that we do bring these facts and this information, because I feel like the battle is two fronts, right? It's number one, knowing what the actual war is that you're fighting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, people, we walk around this earth for who knows how long, not knowing that there's this deficit, right? And there's so many other things that we try to bring light to on this podcast that, we just don't know as a collective all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, number one, we have to educate ourselves to know these things. And then once we're armed with that knowledge, do whatever we can to fight back, right? And I will say, I agree with you. This nap thing, it's something I have probably for the majority of my life been adamantly against, and thought, oh, that's just people that just don't want to do stuff. Naps are for lazy people. Naps are for people who, lead leisurely lives and they just have time to just lie around. And it has been life-changing for me to say out loud, I'm tired.
Right.
My body doesn't want to do anything anymore. I'm going to lay down and rest.
Absolutely.
It's so simple. It's so rudimentary, but it is so vital
Mm-hmm.
to our health and our well-being. And I recommend anyone that's listening to do that, to do the things that are restorative to you, whether it's rest, whether it is exercise, whether it's, just taking a break and doing something leisurely, not working hard for every moment of the day. I feel like, especially as Black people, we have this like grind culture of grind, get your money, get your money,
Mm-hmm.
Get that come up, whatever it is. But, there's a cost to that.
Yeah.
And I think just as important as it is to go out there and chase your dreams and try to build a life for yourself, you also have to take time for yourself as well.
Absolutely.
You can find my mom and dad, aka That Black Couple, on the web at thatblackcouple.com. That Black Couple is owned and operated by Colored Convos Media. If you would like to help fund our content, sign up at www.patreon.com/coloredconvosmedia. Please consider giving $5 or $10 per month to help us build our platform and grow our organization. You can also give one-time donations at www.paypal.me/watercoolerconvos. All donations are welcome.
Okay, so we're back. Let's get into this final section, which is our favorite episode overall. And I chose an episode where I was talking my shit. This is the exploitation of Black women's labor, the erasure of Black women's labor and work episode. And I really love this episode because, I'm trying to figure out how much information I want to give. So
no, I would say don't give too much information, because if you want all the information,
I feel like I should say somebody's name though.
You can name check a little bit. I'm just saying people can go listen to the whole episode.
This is the whole episode, but Cliff's Notes version of this is that Mina Harris, Kamala Harris's niece, blocked me on Facebook and called me a troll because I asked a question about the use of the phenomenal woman phrasing on her clothing without crediting Maya Angelou.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was quite strange that there were t-shirts that said phenomenal woman and nothing on the shirt said Maya Angelou at all. So then I was like, does this go to Maya Angelou's estate? Is there anything? And there was all this argument. Like, she was like, oh, I'm giving to young girls who A, B, and C. And I was like, wait, so this doesn't go back to Maya Angelou's estate. And I got blocked and called a troll and a slew of light skins. What is the group of light skins called?
A gaggle?
An annoyance? An extra. I think a gaggle of light-skinned women who are upset at dark-skinned women should be called a co-optation. No, a co-optation?
I like co-optation. I think you can do better, but I think that's a good place to start.
Maybe a basic? An almost.
An almost.
Okay. So a community of almosts came out and tried to, and I say tried to drag me because almost doesn't count.
Ooh. I love
And they
Brandy.
tried to drag me on behalf of Mina Harris, and all of you should Google her immediately right now because she is phenotypically white. She looks like a white person because most of Kamala Harris's family looks like white people because they are white. They're white people. So I was like, okay, I'm so confused because here I am, an actual factual black person who looks black all the time. Like, I look black in my sleep. I look black in a box. I look black with a fox.
Yeah, you will not be misrecognized
I
as
look
non-black.
black on a train. I look black in the rain.
Mm-hmm.
I look black, some I am. I do look black because I am.
Weed is legal in New York State, y'all.
So all I'm saying is that this is the episode where I was like, you know what? Let's talk about black women's labor being exploited by these phenotypically white people and actual factual white people. And we have to be honest about the fact that even when folks have the greatest intentions and when they have the platform and the well-meaning and the fans and the almosts behind them, they still can be doing problematic shit. So back in July, I think it's July 31st, was Black Women's Equal Pay Day. And I believe that Women's Equal Pay Day is April 18th. Women's Equal Pay Day is the day when white women would have to work up until that day to make the same amount as the average man would in the preceding year. So what men made in January to December of 2017, it took white women, the average white woman, up until April 2018 to make that same amount. Mm-hmm. But it took black women, on average, up until July 31st, right? So it took 3 more months, additional months, to make that same amount. And so on Black Women's Equal Pay Day, you saw all these phenomenal woman shirts. You know, for people who know Maya Angelou's work, who are familiar with her, it's like, oh, that's lit. What is that? I got excited. I saw these phenomenal women shirts. I'm like, oh shit, Maya out here living it up. I hope this is going to her estate. I hope I'm about to put some coins in Maya Angelou's family's pocket. Like, phenomenal woman shirts, that's got to be going to Maya Angelou. Mm-hmm. Then you dig deep and you find that all these phenomenal woman shirts are being sold by not even black people or not even phenotypically black people. Like, so when we think about Maya Angelou's like this 6-footer. Maya Angelou, thick-waisted, kinky-haired, big lips, dark skin, queer as fuck.
And proud. You know, ex-sex worker, grew up poor, wrote all about that shit.
And so I've always had this kind of kindred thing with Maya Angelou because, like, you know, I'm 6'4", grew up in the hood, kinky hair. I was like, yeah, this woman is brilliant. And she's a possibility model because she's got these like wide hips and these big feet. And she out here and stunning and like not fazed by these like European beauty standards and these ideas of what femininity should look like.
And becoming a U.S. poet laureate.
Without copying somebody else's poetry. Exactly. And then, you know, post-mortem, we have people taking her most iconic work, putting it on a shirt, and then selling it. And then not even having, you think that it would say like, in quotations, and then put dash Maya Angelou. Her name's not even on the shirt.
Nope.
And of all days to sell this shirt on Black Women's Equal Pay Day. The irony and the gall, right?
And then you see who's wearing it. You know, we see Hillary Clinton got one on.
Hillary Clinton had one. It was a bunch of white girls I ain't never seen before. I was like, who that white girl? Who's she doing? A phenomenal woman shirt. And then you're like, this is not for you.
Nope.
Maya Angelou was not writing to you. She was not writing about you. This was not yours. And this is the commodification of Black women's labor. This is the commodification of Black women's work. And it's like, you do this after someone has passed on. How do you do this and not feel like shit? How do you do this and not think, wow, I am literally fucking scum?
How do you do that? How do you do that work?
How do you do it? And how does your community let you do it? I think this is something that I really want to get at with this, because when we have folks like Mina Harris who have created now a whole brand and business off of Maya Angelou's words, how do we have folks who are behind her, the almosts, cheering her on, clapping for her, and saying, yes, this is how you do it, sis?
It's because they want to touch the hem of the garment.
That is so concerning to me. And I'm not light-skinned. As you all know, I don't understand how the light-skins live their lives. I've never been to light-skinned dosha. I've never
touched the shores.
I've never touched the shores.
I sense a theme in this episode.
I don't know. I don't understand the logic of being light-skinned. But I know for me, as a darker-skinned Black woman who's been this darker-skinned person my whole life, I feel viscerally disturbed by the notion that I would participate in co-opting and stealing work from another Black woman.
And the thing that really, really got me
a deceased,
yes,
internationally recognizable, laureate level, celebrity Black woman who had to work as a houseless person to support herself and her family in order to become who she was. And I am just Mina Harris, a well-to-do, white-passing, white-adjacent, lighter-skinned white woman who happens to have a politically accessed aunt who claims to be from Oakland, who's from Berkeley.
So many Black people have done so many amazing things.
Wow.
And you said, I'm going to go to the top. I'm going to reach to the top and
just steal her shit.
One of the best known. And
yeah.
I'm just going to make money off of that.
Yeah. I'm just going to go, what did Maya Angelou say? Phenomenal woman? Let's steal that.
Hey, you know what? I probably never actually read the whole poem.
Right.
I'm a woman.
I've probably never read her actual
I think
books,
I'm phenomenal.
And I probably don't give a fuck about her or any other Black women, writers, poets, feminist, creatives. I probably couldn't be in a Black feminist trivia game to save my fucking life.
Let's be honest. If you read the poem,
nigga. But also
the people that are using this don't match the description of the people in the poem.
But this gets at Kamala Harris too. Let's talk about it.
Lord.
This gets at Kamala Harris too, right? Me and Kamala Harris were born in the same hospital. Kamala Harris was born in Kaiser, Oakland. She uses that historical fact to suggest that means that she's from Oakland. Bitch, no, you're just born into an area that has very few hospitals. We have 2 hospitals. You are from Berkeley, California. Your family is Indian. They don't want shit to do with us. You come from a South Asian family, and your South Asian family in the very hyper-segregated Bay Area had nothing to do with Black people. Nothing to do with Black people. Let's repeat that. Nothing to do with Black people.
And that's not to undercut that just because you're from a different minority doesn't mean that you got it super easy.
No.
You living on East Street.
No.
But you also ain't Black though.
You're just not really Black. You don't fuck with Black people. You're not phenotypically Black. But Kamala's a little bit different, right? We're talking about Mina Harris, who, if you see her from the street, looks like a white lady. Looks like a white lady. And every time you say anything to her, she goes, I am Black. So we have to talk about the differences and what it means when you can walk down the street and pass as white. When passing is something that you do regularly. When at most you look spicy. When at most you look a little seasoned. You look seasoned white. You look, white light or something. I don't know.
I mean, I'm so tired.
I'm tired of the Harrises. I'm tired of the Kamalas. I'm tired of the Minas. I'm tired of all of it. But I think that Kamala said everything that she needed to say when she put them fucking Chucks on and that camouflage jacket.
She did.
That's when she put them Timbs on, when she put some shoes on from our hoods, but won't use them to step into our hoods. She told us everything she needed to tell us. And Mina is her fucking niece.
She'll step into your hood to arrest you, though.
She will. No, actually, she won't step into the hood to arrest you.
Someone else.
She'll send some people. And she might send some Black people to do it. But she won't step into your hood to arrest you. She's not stepping over them lines into Oakland. Mm-mm. She probably can count on one hand how many times she's been to Oakland proper. The one time she was born.
No, she probably been there a couple times. I mean, she did have to, go and sell herself.
Driving through does not count.
She had to, kiss some babies and
she not kissing no Oakland babies. Them babies was pin plap that bitch. Ain't no Oakland babies fucking with Kamala Harris. Moving on. Listen to the episode.
Listen to the episode.
But I think it's funny because to this day, Mina Harris has me blocked on Facebook and calls me a troll because this was years ago. So I'm really wondering how she engages with me going forward because I'm like, bitch, I'm a whole fucking author and professor. So if I'm sitting here if I'm offering you this critique about your choices and asking how you make this choice, it comes from a place of intellect. It comes from a place of deep wisdom. And at what point do we hold light skins responsible to intellect and wisdom of Black folk?
And that's the thing too, right? Is there's this belief that if someone asks you a question or if someone is critical of the work that you're doing, that you believe that they are trying to undercut you.
Right.
And that's not what this was.
No.
Most times it's not.
No.
The spirit is, I'm trying to understand what you're doing.
I want to understand.
And if you're doing something wrong, I want to be able to say that you're doing something wrong. And I also want to give you the opportunity to correct it.
Right. And also, and let's say one more thing about this shit, because it's honestly getting on my fucking nerve, if we're being honest. Your trauma and your inability to walk in reality does not mean that other people are not able to physically understand the world as it exists today. All it means is that we have to have grace and empathy for one another as we do it. So Mina Harris is a person who, y'all can Google her, does not look Black. Okay? That's it. Me saying that doesn't make me a bad person. It doesn't make me a shithead. It doesn't make me racist. It doesn't make me any of those things. It doesn't make me jealous. It makes me a person who can physically see Mina Harris and who knows what Black people look like in a society that has an idea of what Blackness is. I'm not talking about my personal ideas because I know that Blackness comes in all manner of shades, shapes, sizes, colors, and creeds. I know that there are people in my family who look all different ways with freckles and red hair, all type of shit. What I am saying is that we understand how criminality, deviancy are affixed to dark skin in this country and globally. So we cannot sit here and play this game and act like people who are fucking iridescent and transparent and see-through have the exact same experiences as people like Daren and I. So if I bring that up and say, hey, you need to be accountable and you need to be enough of an adult to have that conversation. That's the first part. The second part is, if someone brings that to you as a Black feminist who believes in freedom and liberation and is asking you about how you comport that truth with the work that you are doing to use the words of another Black, very phenotypically Black person with very Black features, wide set nose, big lips, gap teeth, very high cheekbones, big booty, big hips, big feet, using that person's work to build your own career, you have to be accountable. It has nothing to do with somebody being a troll. It has nothing to do with somebody being jealous. Bitch, I got my own shit. And I actually don't want to be you. That shit look mad boring and hella vanilla. That shit look like it tastes like unseasoned chicken. I'm good, boo-boo, over here. But what I will say is that even launching those critiques at someone like me comes from a place of misogynoir. It comes from a place of saying that there's no way I could critique someone like Mina Harris without it being just me hating because I'm jealous, because I can't be her, because her life is so great. And secretly, all the dark-skinned girls, we sit in circles and we hold hands and we say, oh, dear God, make us those light-skinned girls like Mina Harris. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you, we are not doing that. I promise you. And while we may have when we were children because we saw that society rewarded y'all for being basic bitches, we grew up and became adults and realized how fucking dope we are and how sad and insecure you are because you don't understand your own Blackness, because your proximity to whiteness confuses you. And we said, no, we're good. Keep it. I promise. My distance from whiteness brings me joy. Every morning I wake up and I go, I'm Black. I go to my plants. I say, y'all Black. I love that shit. I don't wake up in the morning like, I wonder if some days gonna think I'm a white lady. I don't have to worry about that shit, bitch, but you do. Kiss my ass, girl.
You coming out the soapbox now?
Oh, Lord.
You feel better?
That's been on my chest for years.
You got it released.
I'm so mad.
You got it out.
I'm so mad. I'm so tired of light-skinned girls being like, the truth is that we have it so hard out here because y'all are jealous. Bitch, you have it hard because you're stealing shit. Mina Harris, stop stealing shit from Maya Angelou, bitch. That's why you got it hard. That's why niggas is mad at you. That's the weird part to me. Let's talk about the thing you did. Let's call a thing a thing. We don't have to talk about none of your personal problems with black women. Move the fuck on. Grow up. How old are you? 35? How old are you?
That's what therapists are for.
That's what therapists are for. And I have one, okay? My issues with light-skinned girls from elementary school, I can talk to my therapist. And I guarantee you, we're not talking about it because I don't fucking care no more. But I did. I will tell you, I did. I was like, oh, my hair not long. I did that for a good, 2-3 years in elementary school. Okay, we did that. Now moving the fuck on, bitch. Stop stealing shit. Jesus.
I need to take a breath. All right. I'm going to close it out. I'm going to move to my favorite episode overall. And to be honest, it's in a similar vein. But my favorite episode was episode...
Why am I sweating?
Because you heated.
I'm mad. I did yoga this morning. And I cooled down, and now I'm hot again. This is upsetting to me. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
My favorite episode was episode 18, entitled "Do Good Work and Don't Be Trash."
Oh, that's a good episode.
And like I said, it's in a similar vein to your favorite episode of the Erasure of Black Women's Work, because I love this episode because I feel like this is one of your credos that you got. And I remember when you told it to me so many years ago, I was like, it's so on. It's just so direct and to the point. It's like, go out into the world and just do good work.
Yeah.
Don't go out into the world and try to sneak and scheme and steal and slip around and find a loophole and sneak under and hide in the shadows.
Get shortcuts.
Just go and do good work and don't be a shitty ass person.
Mm-hmm.
Just do that. And they say the cream rises to the top, and it has been proven to me over and over again. Just do good work and don't be a trash ass individual. It's that simple. Here we go. To back off of that as well, a lot of times, and we talked about this before on the podcast, how a lot of times if you are deemed, one of the good ones, that just gives you even more power to say, oh, well, you definitely don't need to listen to anybody because you're one of the good ones.
Good black men are the fucking work of the enemy.
Well, and that's a blanket statement. And I know why you're saying it. But because I would argue that I am one of the good ones.
No, you're not.
Can I finish?
Go ahead.
I would argue that I'm one of the good ones. I got one of them good jobs with the good benefits, and I'm a dad, and I give my kids bath and make sure they brush their teeth at night.
And you straight.
And I'm straight.
And you cisgender.
Yeah, and now, and this is one of those developments that's happened since we've been off. Now I'm cooking dinner too.
Nigga, don't ever say now I'm cooking dinner too.
Now I am. So
I love that you telling on yourself. You just told the whole podcast. It's okay. We've been married for 12 years. We've been together for 16 years. And you just told the podcast that you now cooking dinner. You just told on yourself.
I'm being honest, and I don't care. It's true. I didn't cook. You're a great cook. I said, you can handle it. And then I said, you know what? You got a lot on your plate.
Yeah, you did.
Maybe I should help.
Grad school happened, and you were like, wow, this is a lot.
I can do other things.
Yeah, I can be a whole human person who makes food.
But the problem with that is on the back end is then it's like, oh, you're so great. You don't have to do anything else.
So the reason why I said you're not a good black man, the reason why I said that is because I often feel like the good black man narrative is not only wielded by the black man himself, but also the society around him.
Yeah.
And I think that while other people have projected that title onto you, and maybe when you were younger, like in your teen years, you sat comfortably in that, I do think that as an adult, you have said, I'm going to challenge that and I'm going to struggle with that. And I know that I'm flawed and I know that I have privilege and I know that I do some fucked up shit, which to me is really important. So I understand what you're saying about, like, you know, you would be deemed a good black man. But I also think that one of the key components about that type of mythology, that type of stereotype, is that if you're sitting in it and saying, nah, fuck that shit. Like, I'm not trying to be that, and I'm not gonna take that. That's not good enough for me. That's also significant.
I love that episode.
I actually think that's really dope. And I'm really glad that we're ending on this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. To me, what's embedded in this whole, like, do good work and don't be trash thing is also a level of integrity. And that's what's really important to me. And it's always been important to me, even as a child. Like, there's something about, I remember when I was a kid, I was like 11 years old, and I looked at the word integrity, and it was talking about the ways that we carry ourselves when nobody is looking. And I was like, oh shit, that I've never forgotten it. That integrity is about whether or not we do the right thing when no one is looking.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the whole, like, do good work and don't be trash thing to me is an articulation of having just this innate integrity, having this moral compass that no matter if there's an audience or people there that can say, oh my gosh, you did that, you're so good, oh yay, I want to be your fan now, that you still choose to do the right thing, that you still choose to show up because it is the right thing and because you genuinely give a fuck, right? And I think that there are times when we are challenged, right? We recently went through this shit. Right? Niggas who listen to the podcast knows that there's been multiple partners of mine who've been on this podcast. A most recent partner who has been on episodes of this podcast, who you will never fucking hear on this motherfucking podcast ever motherfucking again.
Never,
ever again. And you know what? And even in that, I can hold space and grace for that person and know that I never want to see them again, because the right thing for me to do is to ensure that that person has housing, food, safety, and everything they need over the fuck there. Over the fuck there. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing, is like, I think that there are times where folks want to perform goodness because people are looking and people will give them credit. And then when the times get hard, when the road hits the fucking, I forgot the term,
when the rubber hits the road.
Rubber hits the road. I struggle with this one. This one's hard. It's like, does the road hit the pavement or does the pavement hit the rubber? Which one's happening with the pavement?
It's the rubber and the rubber in the tires.
So the rubber, I get this part. I get it intellectually. Like, the rubber hits, anyway, I get them mixed up. The whole point I'm saying is that when the rubber meets the road, when folks are tested and challenged, when they are put through something that makes them face their own traumas and triggers, do they still choose to be good? Like, do they still choose to do the good thing? Right? And do they still choose to do the good thing when there's no one there to say, bitch, you did that?
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of times I am learning the hard way that people don't.
A lot of people don't.
A lot of people don't.
And it's funny because, you know, coming off of your favorite episode, it's really about accountability, right? And so there's accountability to the world, there's accountability to your workspace, there's accountability to your partner, there's accountability to your family, there's accountability to all these different things. There's all of those types of accountabilities. But then you also have to be accountable to yourself. It's that at the end of the day, when you look at yourself in the mirror, can you be proud?
Right.
Can you feel good? Can you feel like you did right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you feel like you were honorable? Do you have those feelings, or do you feel like, oh, I cut that nigga off on the street because I want to get that parking spot? Or, is that the feeling? Are those the things that you see looking back at you at the end of the day? Or at the end of the day, can you look back and feel like whether the world saw me or the world didn't see me, I did the right thing? And I agree with you, is I feel like the older I get, the more I see how rare that actually is.
Yes.
And it's very saddening to me.
Yes.
But it also makes me realize those people that do have that self-accountability are just fucking gold.
Yep, you keep them motherfuckers forever.
They are precious diamonds.
Yep.
You know, especially, you know, in the Black culture, because of the things we've talked about, because life is so hard, because you're not getting all the sleep that you need, because the world is out to get you, out to get you, because people are stealing your work and not giving you credit.
Yep.
Because all these things are happening to you every day since birth.
Yep.
Since utero.
Yep.
Since you weren't even on this earth.
Right.
You weren't even a thought, and your parents were experiencing
intergenerationally.
And then it flowed
in the
down
DNA.
to you through the DNA.
Yep.
Right? Because of all of that stuff, if you still, at the end of the day, can choose to be accountable.
Yep.
I mean,
bitch.
You done won.
You won. And you know what? Those are the people who I choose to be in community with. The people who still choose to be accountable, integral, and to move with intention and to reduce the harm that they put out into the world, even when it's fucking tough. Like, those are the people that I want to call my comrades. Those are the people who I want to call my friends and my family. And that is why my community is so fucking tight. That's why my shit is so fucking locked. And that is what I demand of the people who are around me. Because you know what? That's how the fuck I show up. And that's the thing. You model that for people in your community by being that, right? When you're in community with people and you're doing shitty shit, you draw in shitty shit people, right? People who like shitty shit, who are like, oh, let's go back to Mina Harris, right? Mm-hmm. Like them almost that are kicking it with her. They're like, ooh, let me get my come up too. Let me see what Audre Lorde said. I guarantee you it's some people who's like, let's skim through the Black feminist literature and see whose quotes I can steal. And I know that they're doing it because people have stolen my shit. I will never forget. I hopped on this light-skinned girl's page on Twitter and looked in her header, and it was a quote from me. And I was like, bitch, is that me? I was like, your header is me? I don't even know you. How can I possibly be the thing that you need in your header to tell people who you are?
Isn't that wild? And didn't attribute it to you at all.
Well, this one at least had a quote that said it was from me.
Oh, it did?
This one actually attributed it to me, which was interesting. Wow. Right? But also still, don't put me on your fucking page without my permission. Don't do that. Don't make me into a meme. Who does that? Who makes somebody else into a meme and makes it fancy and does a hashtag with your organization on it and then puts it on your page? And I'm still sitting here very much alive and you follow me on Twitter. That shit's strange. That's just strange.
But like I said, people want to touch the hem of the garment.
No,
they see it come up. They see someone who has something. They see someone who has figured something out, and they think, "How can I just study up underneath you and have the trickle down effects of whatever you got?"
Here's what I will say as we close out this episode. Like our episodes, our conversations, we like to joke. We like to have our goofy moments or whatever. And we do that to make, light and be lighthearted about things that are actually very serious and very tough to navigate as Black folks, queer folks, parents, folks who have been in multiple positions of class, poor, working class, middle class, whatever the fuck we are now. And I think that what I want folks to take away from this episode is that the body of the episodes, the collection of what we've put here is conversations about how to actually be better humans, right? How to know what folks are navigating and what they're going through, whether it be romantic, whether it be personal, whether it be emotional, whether it be mental, whether it be in their parenting life or their work life. And how can we take those things into account? But then how can we also be able to turn a mirror onto ourselves and challenge ourselves and do better, right? Like be better humans. I really want folks to sit with, there's this whole culture right now, this Brene Brown courage culture about like courage and vulnerability and oh my God, la 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 la. And that shit mad cute. But I feel like what's not there is challenging ourselves to really look in the mirror and be like, bitch, what is you doing? Right? Like it's all this courage about going and trying that swim meet and asking for that raise at work and talking to that person who you've got a crush on and telling them that you love them.
Which is all self-serving.
It's all self-serving, but it's all facing outward. It's all about what's happening with other people. And I think that we don't spend enough time facing inward to understand that if we don't take care of the interior self, if we don't take care of what we are analyzing as who we are and what we should be doing, courage ain't gonna do nothing but give us ways to go and put all that fucking trauma and work that shit out in all of our fucking professional, friendship, relationship, romantic relationships with others. All it's gonna do is give us a fucking ticket to go shit on everybody else. So all I'm asking is, this is what I'm asking in 2022. Keep that shit to yourself, okay? Like, whatever you got to do, keep that shit to yourself, bro. Start at home, okay? Like, I'm talking to the man in the mirror. Like, I don't fuck with MJ, but that shit was on some real shit, okay? Yeah. Talk to that motherfucker in the mirror first. Do some meditations. Get your journal. Get yourself some tarot cards. Build you some altars. Talk to your ancestors. Talk to your spirits. Whatever you have to do that work before you go out into the world and have some motherfucking courage. And that courage is sitting there obfuscating the fact that you're a shitty person. That's all I'm saying.
And that is what is encompassed in do good work and don't be trash.
Don't be trash. That shit ashy.
Thank y'all for listening. Before you go, make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ThatBLKCouple, on Facebook at ThatBlackCouple, and look us up on the internets at www.thatblackcouple.com.
Bye.